Hey, my name is Cindy Manley with Art Shattered, and I have taught thousands of women how to create art using glass and resin. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing piece of art using a broken rum bottle and a broken Coke bottle. So let's get this party started. Okay, friends, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to get a wood frame or a wood tray of some sort. I didn't seal this tray. It is actually a Hobby Lobby wood piece. So we're going to use that for our artwork. Also, we're using a broken Captain Morgan bottle and a broken Coke bottle. So we're going to mix up some resin and put that on the bottom of this tray before we even apply our bottle pieces. So I like to put my resin in these little squirt bottles. I feel like it makes it easier for me to mix. But make sure you label them correctly so that you don't get them mixed up. So we're going to mix up about 3 ounces of ArtResin, and we're going to stir that according to the directions. We're going to gentle stir and mix that for 3 minutes. So just make sure you're stirring gently so you're not creating a ton of bubbles, and mix that for the whole 3 minutes. That is something I really try to stress when I'm teaching is don't cheat yourself. Make sure you mix it because you don't want to come back to a sticky mess when you're done. Now we're going to just pour a thin layer of this ArtResin onto the bottom of our tray. So I'm going to use this silicone spreader, and I'm just going to cover the entire bottom. And keep in mind too, this is wood. It is a porous surface, so you might end up with bubbles anyway unless you seal the wood prior to adding your resin. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't bother me, so I'm just going to go for it and apply the resin right onto this non-sealed wood. All right, so once you get that entire board covered, we're going to start putting our glass on, our broken bottle bits. Now, what I like to do to make sure everything's stuck down really nicely, when I'm using curved glass, I like to add a little bit of resin with my hands to the inside and the edges of the bottle, the glass, whatever I'm using. Now, do keep in mind that you need to hone all these broken bits with a honing stone before you do this because you don't want to cut yourself. Broken bottles are sharp and can cut you if you don't take precautions. So make sure all the bits and pieces that you are using, that you hone them, hone those sharp edges so that it is a safe art piece. You don't get cut. Whoever purchases it doesn't get cut, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so we're just going to arrange our little pieces however I feel like they fit. You could have them, you could arrange them however you see fit. I'm just going to start adding all my little bits here and there. And I'm just adding that resin, a thin coat to the pieces as I resin them. We are going to add more resin to the top of those. So just start adding all your bits and pieces of your Coke bottle. You may have a lot more pieces than me. My rum bottle actually broke. I was actually trying to cut it in half and then it broke. So I was able to use that in just 2 pieces, which was super, super exciting. My Coke bottle, on the other hand, really shattered into a bunch of pieces. But I didn't mind. It still is going to look nice in the end, so I'm super happy about that. All right, so once you get all your pieces where you want them, I'm going to take these gloves off and add one more little element before I resin over the top. All right, I am going to take a little bit of Starfire glass. That is fire glass that we sell in our store. It is crystal clear, has no color to it whatsoever. So it looks really good with the Captain Morgan bottle. So I'm going to take some of this Starfire and add it all around my broken bottle bits to even make it look better and more like it actually shattered. So you're adding just those little shattered bits here and there. We do sell 26 different colors on our website. So if you're interested, we'd love for you to come take a look at that. Look how much better that looks with that glass added. So nice. So let's get our gloves back on and resin over the Starfire and over the bottle pieces over the tops of those. You can just be very generous with this because the resin also helps solidify the art and makes it less fragile and less prone to more breakage. So we're just going to drizzle the rest of this resin over our bottle. You can use your fingers to kind of spread it on the tops of the bottle to make sure all those bits and pieces are covered. Just drizzle, drizzle, and you know that ArtResin self-levels, so don't worry too much if you have more resin in one spot than the other. I do see that I am dripping on my edges, but we'll manage that later. We're just going to continue and make sure all of our glass bits are completely covered. I'm a drizzler. Some people like to just pour, but I like to drizzle because I feel like personally it helps me know that I've covered all the little giblets and all the little tidbits of all this little broken glass. Now, I do, like I said, I do see that I'm getting some resin on my edges. And so once I get all of this covered, I'm going to just rub some resin on my gloves and hit those edges. But for now, I'm just going to keep adding resin, make sure it's all covered. Any area where the resin is kind of soaking into the porosity of the wood, I'm going to add a little bit more resin here and there and make sure it's all nice and even. So now let's just take a tidbit of resin off my little stick and finish the edges since I dripped on them anyway. And so we'll get that finished out so it's nice and cohesive. And once we get all our resin on here, it's time to pop those bubbles. So I have a heat gun that I bought from Amazon. It is a Seek 1 heat gun, and I like to use that, but you can totally use ArtResin's little torch, or you can use isopropyl alcohol. I like the heat gun. Because I teach and some people are afraid of the torch, I like to use the heat gun. Just make sure you keep your hand moving at all times so that you're not scorching the resin or scorching the wood. All right, you don't want to burn your resin. Now I think I'm going to add a few more little tidbits here and there of my Starfire. I see a few places that look a little naked, so we're going to add a little bit of that Starfire back. You could use clear as well, or even a mix of clear and Starfire. The clear has a little bit more of the Coke bottle look. It has a little tint to it, and the Starfire is crystal clear. But check this out up close and personal. This looks really nice, and I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I'm going to take my little alcohol wipes and clean up a little, clean my table up so we don't get resin on other areas of the art piece, and clean up my edges so it doesn't get drippy. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this project. It was so much fun to do. Now, if you're looking for more information about Art Shattered, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook, Art Shattered, and you can visit our website as well at artshattered.com.